Hey, everybody, and welcome to Community Matters. Once again, I'm Rod Carter here on CBS 17 Plus. We're so excited today to be focusing on empowerment and workforce development with someone who lives and breathes that every single day, that community impact. And joining me now is the wonderful and great. Before we do that, let me tell you what we're talking about. Let me show you this. This is a Workforce in Action business luncheon that's going to take place. I'm going to show you all this again, but it's coming up on Friday, December 5th, and from 11 to 1:30 p.m. And we're going to give you all these details, but I want to tell you who's been putting all of this together. This is Chisa Penix Brown, and she's the Chief Experience Curator, and I love that title, of Give It to the People. That's an organization dedicated to helping people grow their businesses. Thanks so much for being here. How are you?
I'm wonderful, and thank you so much for having me.
Oh, this is great. I'm excited. It was really nice to meet you the other day. And as soon as you talked about your program, I'm like, we got to get her on so we can talk about it. First of all, for viewers who may not know who you are, what you do, tell me a little bit about Chisa and what a Chief Experience Coordinator is.
So, what I do and who I am is I am the person who is behind the events, making everything do what it do, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people put on events, but they don't think about all the details. And we primarily focus on business events. So, business, professional development, and business development training. So, for us, it's really not just let's put on something, but it is for everything to be immediately actionable. And it also is to make people feel good about learning and really feel good about coming out to every event that we do because we are intentional about attracting the right people and making sure that they get the information that they need as soon as possible because business is 24 hours a day when you're really doing this, and it doesn't just stop with a 9 to 5. So we want to make sure that people have the tools that they need so they can be successful.
That's absolutely true. Tell me about Give It to the People and how that started and what it is and what you guys do.
Yes, definitely. So give it to the people. We're a business service organization who focuses on helping businesses grow. And we work with other business service organizations throughout the state. So that's like your CDFIs, your cities, your counties, banking institutions. We are heavily involved with the Small Business Center Network and have been for over
Mhm.
15 years. And so we provide that training, but we also do our own events and we do events for and with other people because capacity is one of the biggest things that people have a problem with, and a lot of people are short staffed. So let us come in and be that fractional event planner to put those things together for you to make sure everything runs smoothly. And we make sure that people are not stressed and overwhelmed whenever we do events because we always like to think about mental wealth as a primary focus. So
Mhm.
get your mind right and get your money right. And when you're investing with us, that means that you don't have to have all of that stress, but you'll have an amazing event.
I mean, your business is an example of exactly what you're talking about in entrepreneurship and building up community. How did you
Mhm.
get started with Give It to the People, and what led you into that direction?
So our previous company was called Lady Business,
Mhm.
and we started that in 2008. But when COVID came, my husband and I were working at home together, and what we wanted to do was see what we could do to put our talents and our skills to the best use, and also see where we can make the most impact. And so one-off classes are great, and we still do those, right? We'll still do plenty of webinars, we'll do things in person. But a 1 day summit where you can get multiple learning experiences has been something that has been pretty much like a catalyst for us to really say we can impact a whole lot of people on 1 day and then be able to assist them with those resources that they need after that, which then also led into this year in January, we started our Give It, Get It business membership
Mhm.
because we saw that people needed more help. So it's like classes are great, the summits are great, but now where can I get some of those actionable things to make sure that they're aligned throughout the whole year? So we added that in this year and it's been growing. So our goal for the end of the year is to get to like 200 members. We are already around 150. And I think that that's really good if you consider the year that we've had, just from everybody's perspective. And then also being able to make sure that we're a statewide organization. So it's not just localized to one area, even though we are focused in the triangle.
And I would imagine a lot of people kind of do similar things that you're doing, but what sets yours apart? What makes it different?
Well, I would say one of the things is definitely that we're statewide. And so when you look at that, a lot of people like to compare us to a chamber of commerce or to like a merchants association or somewhat similar to a BNI, but that we do a little bit more than that. And we also do less than some organizations. So for instance, if you look at your regular chamber of commerce, they're actually even going to the state to advocate. We focus on two main things, which are marketing and money. And those are the things that most business owners say that they have a problem with. And so if we can focus on helping them do those, it increases their capacity. They stay in business, they're sustainable, and then hopefully it's something that they can pass down to the next generation.
Yeah, you kind of take some of the weight off of them by doing the work for them, is what you're basically saying. That's pretty
Yes.
cool. So I love this idea that you guys are going to have the Workforce in Action Business Luncheon, and you can see the information on the screen. Tell us a little bit about what this is.
There were pieces that I think people just didn't know about workforce. And earlier in the year, we did a virtual summit. Ms. Glenda Morrow, who works for the city, she was, one of our facilitators and will be one of the facilitators for this event. And she was talking about all the different facets of workforce development that people just didn't know about. And so if you wanted to be a facilitator, that's an option for you to be able to grow your business. If you were interested in maybe you're unemployed or underemployed and you want to upskill your employees, that may be something where you can get into it. But there are so many different programs, and people need to understand what works for them and then how they can be a part of it. So not only is this particular day next week, but then next year we're also going to have an in action portion where you will sit down, be on the computer, actually import all of your information into the workforce development system so that you can then hopefully hire that employee. And it's so many things that big business knows that little business or small business doesn't really get into. But if you have somebody to walk along with you that knows and that can really help you fill out your application, tell you where you're doing something wrong, it has that accountability to it that I think makes a big difference. And so for us, it's important for people to be able to hire, and it's important for people to be able to get jobs.
How did you guys come up? How did you come up with this idea? I'm assuming you and your husband probably worked on this thought process together. How did you
We
guys come up
did.
with this idea?
Definitely. Well, it was that summit. People were asking so many questions.
Mm,
And even when you're on a virtual summit, you have a limited time to be able to answer so many questions.
right.
But it was one of the things where people are like, look, I want to hire people, but I can't afford to. And if you utilize the workforce development system, some portions of it, they'll pay for the employee. Some portions of it, you'll get reimbursed for the money that you spend. And so there are different areas and different levels. And so we'll be talking about that so people understand where they fit in their business. And so our target audience is really people that are 2 years and up in business. But there are a lot of legacy businesses that are specifically in Durham and in the Triangle, and they're small businesses. And in order for them to build capacity, they need to hire, and
Right.
then retention is a thing that is a problem with businesses. But if you could upskill your employees and then allow them to learn more while
Mhm.
they're actually working for you, the odds are that they'll stay. Everybody is not necessarily going to go to college. But that
Very
doesn't mean
true.
that they can't start a business or a job sooner and then possibly be even ahead of their counterparts. And so that's one of the things that he's really adamant about, being on the workforce development board for the state.
Hmm.
And then we're going to go into Ms. Glenda Morrow being able to talk to us about what those programs are. We have Latasha Besgatti. She's going to be talking about some of the funding strategies that you may be able to utilize, even if you didn't go through the workforce. And then I'm going to wrap up at the end talking a little bit about some of that marketing and also our Intern Ready program, because a lot of businesses say, oh, I want to hire somebody.
Hmm.
And that sounds great until you have to write that job description and you have to figure out what you need that person to do for you.
Right.
So we'll have those things in place for you, a lovely little booklet for you to take home with you, always a lovely lunch, and just networking too, because I think that you should be nourished in your mind and in your body. And so that to me
Yeah.
allows people a little bit more comfort when they come to these things. So when you said what's different, a lot of these events that you do, like especially if they're city and state and they're just trying to inform you, may not have anything for lunch, right?
Hmm.
But I'm a big proponent, and that's a big thing with us with Give It to the People, is I think you learn better when you're not hungry.
That
I
is
think
true.
you connect better when you can break bread, and then you can find commonalities to be able to have a discussion. And that may be your next connection, your next hire. It may be your next person that you work with, that you team with on an event,
Hmm.
or whatever. So I like to think about making people feel comfortable and feel like family whenever they come to all of our events.
Well, I always laugh because I think I learned probably more in my entire life standing in the kitchen talking to my mother and grandmother than I did anywhere else. Because
Yeah.
you just, it's there's something about food and that camaraderie and that conversation that really makes a huge difference. So I think you nailed it with the food, and you can always get me some
Yes.
good sandwiches too. Let's talk in general about the local workforce. What are some of the biggest obstacles that folks in the community face right now when it comes to trying to enter or re-enter the workforce?
Oh, that's a good question. So it depends on who you are.
That's right.
Re-entry is a big thing. And so if you're literally talking about re-entering, we have a lot of people with recidivism that are trying to come out of our prison system. And, when I think about it, a lot of times that may be the only thing that you can do is to start a business in order for you to be successful, depending upon what your record is. But you also have a lot of people that are retiring and they have a wonderful skill set that they've amassed, and they may want to be able to utilize that on a small business that is local in the community. You
Hmm.
have some people that have been laid off and they have been applying to jobs, and I've seen them. They had the good jobs until they didn't.
Yeah.
And if you're consistently applying, but you have a wonderful skill set, there may be a company out there that's a part of this whole workforce development that
Hmm.
you didn't even know about. And maybe they're not even necessarily advertising that a position is available, but now you can become a part of that. So I think that it's important for people to really just look at the landscape has changed. And a lot of times we look for those big companies, but there are a lot of small businesses that keep this country afloat, and specifically
Yes.
North Carolina. And, when we look at that, our small businesses need help.
I agree. I agree. It's tough out there. And I mean, especially in this current climate. And, the pandemic really did a number on the country too, especially small businesses. So I think organizations like yours who put together events that can help small businesses thrive and also just help people kind of get themselves back where they want to be or get to where they want to be make a huge difference. If I were listening to this just at home for the first time
Mhm.
today, what's the first step that people can take to kind of plug into your programs and your resources? Is the best place to just go to the website to get more information about that and then kind of move from there?
Definitely go to giveittothepeople.com. And even when you go there, we have a membership page. You can go click to that. It'll take you to we have a separate site. It's just the way that it's designed for our membership. When you join the membership, you're also going to get our newsletter. You're going to be able to see the blog posts. People can post their own events. You can find out what is going on a consistent basis. We put out tools and tips. And I think that the biggest thing for people to understand is that we are statewide. So it's not just one particular area, even
Hmm.
though, again, we are triangle focused, but you might need to know what's going on in Asheville. You may need to know what is going on down in Carteret County. We go all over the state when we're facilitating events and teaching. And I think that it's really important for people to be tapped in, to have a hub where they can find out about these events and they don't have to search all over the place. You don't have to be tuned into
Absolutely.
everybody's newsletter. You have one place that you can go. And we have a whole bunch of interesting new things that'll be coming up for the new year. And we definitely want to make sure that if you can't make this, when you're tapped in, you can find out when the next thing is. So we definitely want you to just stay in tune with us. So if you go to giveittothepeople.com, you can go to the membership page, you can check the event page, you can check any webinars that we're having. And there's always something that is in the community that we're doing, because that's what we do, is give it to the people.
That's what you do. Give it to the people. Real quick, Chisa, your final message to people about to the community about the importance of workforce development right now. I know we kind of tapped on it, but I want to get a final message about that, and then we're going to put up the flyer one more time so people can see that.
Small business is important. And in order for small business to stay in business, we need people to work with us. And so if we're not able to hire, then we can't replicate ourselves. So we want to really make sure that your small business has what it needs so that you can be successful and sustainable. And of course, be able to do more, the work, not just work in the business, but also work on the business. And I think that's
Hmm.
a part that a lot of businesses are missing. If you had somebody to help you, imagine how much faster you could grow.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it makes such a big difference. If you just take something huge like marketing and development and growth off the plate and let an expert do that, then you can focus on what it is you're doing, and then it makes a big
Yes.
difference. All right, so let's give the folks this flyer one more time just to remind them. Workforce in Action Business Luncheon is Friday, December 5th. 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. and be very clear that it starts at 11 a.m., not 11:16, not 11:12, 11. Jesus, like I'm starting on time at the E. Harvey SD Center at 1121 Slater Road in Durham. And you can get more information and register and all that stuff at giveittothepeople.com. So we appreciate you as always, and looking forward to whatever the next event is, and hopefully we'll get a chance to sit and chat about that.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This has been amazing just to be able to have a platform to be able to tell more people about the things that are happening and to make sure that our businesses are getting some of the attention that they definitely deserve
Hmm.
and being able to get the help that they need.
We definitely want to do whatever we can do to help small businesses out. Chisa, thank you so much. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it as always. And just for good measure, I'm going to throw that flyer up one more time so people can see it. And you can, again, see all of this information and more about Give It to the People on their website. Thank you all so much for joining us for another edition of Community Matters. I'm Rod Carter. Take care, and we'll see you next time.